And today I will be trying to tell you a little about generative AI, prompt engineering, and how you can use it in your professional life as a project manager, but also I believe that how you can use it in your personal setup context. Why not? Because this session is for you. So I have some slides prepared. I have, I would say, demo use cases to go through. But if you have any questions in the meantime, please put them in the chat. I will be trying to answer them either while I'm going or at the end of the day, at the end of the presentation, I will leave a couple of minutes for the Q&A session. And yeah, the title of the presentation is very loose. I just wanted to connect something funny because this is something that probably some of you don't know about me. All my workshops, and I'm delivering quite many of them, are usually surrounded with a lot of jokes and humor, because if I believe that if it's funny, then it will be easy for you to remember, or at least it will be easy for you to connect with that. So today's session is called Kung Fu Keyboard, the art of prompt engineering for project managers. So that's why the picture, I want to believe that this person is doing a Kung Fu pose, and I will not discuss on that. As I said, my name is Marek Malinowski. I'm currently employed within Ernst & Young, or EY for short, in Wrocław. I'm having a role of strategy tooling and innovation lead within the organization responsible for the operation and support. So everything to do, hello, my computer doesn't work, or my application doesn't work, and how we are solving it with the use of a new technology, it's somehow related to me. This is my LinkedIn profile. If you want, you can connect with me. Just drop me a message. From where you know me, it will be easy for me to remember. And that's me in a professional context, but I also believe that the good presentation should always give a little bit of insights about the presenter in the personal context. And if you may mute yourself while I'm talking, it would be awesome. If you want to ask a question, please use the chat for now, or unmute and shout. And as I said, a little about me in a personal context. So in the center, you see a little letter M. It's a very important letter for me because my name is Marek Malinowski, as you see on the screen where my name is mentioned. So that's why 2 M's, but it's not stops here. My wife is Marta Malinowska. My daughter is Małgorzata Malinowska. I have a dog called Mabel. I drive Mazda. For now, you can say there's a little bit of coincidence, but also planned actions. However, I can tell you that I didn't marry my wife because of her name. She has a lot of amazing other features, and plus her name. But this is the bizarre thing. I also live on Maurycego Mochnackiego Street, which is double M's as well. The only thing that doesn't work in this equation is the name of my town, which is Wrocław, which is W. But then again, you can say that's just the M turned upside down. And I will not move to any other city in Poland because this is the nicest city. What else I'm doing? I'm doing quite a lot. I want to keep myself busy. You see my dog Mabel, that's me with a lot of drawings made by my daughter. And she's also one of my inspirations, because you see on the screen here and here in the center, something that I could say ponies. Those are the ponies drawn by my daughter. And this is where my private journey of delivering workshops started. I'm still delivering originally made workshop called My Little Ponies and Quest to teach people about machine learning. And I'm very proud of it. And it's basically my personal story of me working with my daughter and how she, back then 7 or 8-year-old girl, created her own machine learning model capable of recognizing My Little Ponies. And all my workshop that I'm delivering in the area of AI, I want to use with the phrase, make AI fun again. That's why a lot of humor, a lot of jokes, and also a lot of valuable knowledge, I hope. Then you see foods of my family. So me, my wife, my daughter. I'm a huge fan of an outdoor activity called geocaching. It's all about treasure hunt. I would like to say that I'm a photographer, but it's not for me to judge. It's for others looking at my pictures. I'm a huge fan of, as I said, my town, Wrocław. That's why the Wrocław Dwarf. Don't know how many of you were ever in Wrocław, but if you ever will be in Wrocław, you can drop me a message on LinkedIn. I can give you an exclusive tour. And we have a lot of those dwarfs across Wrocław. And then last but not least, something that I'm proud of as well, at the bottom screen, you see me delivering one of many workshops. In this setup, you see me delivering workshop on design thinking, because that's also something that I'm interested in, and I like to share my knowledge as a volunteer. But enough about me in a professional personal context. We are jumping to a second important part of a good presentation, which is icebreaker. And here I will use a chat functionality, and you will help me with it. The icebreaker is called Unbelievable Truth. Again, if there is any person that joined my previous workshop, you should know that. But if not, then it's a simple icebreaker. You will see 3 stories. I'll read it to you and you will see them on the screen. And your task is to choose which one of those stories is the real one. I mean, the real one, the one that happened, is the true one. That's why Unbelievable Truth. And you will have 3 options: story number 1, story number 2, story number 3. But then you will have additional 2 wildcards. And the options are all are lie, all are true. So we'll have 5 options. Story number 1 is true, story number 2 is true, story number 3 is true.
This is the event we added to that item. So since there is no white background.
Someone is talking on not on mute. Thank you. So again, story number 1, story number 2, story number 3 are true, all are true, all are true, all are lie. And those are the stories. Story number 1, I will read it from the slide, but you'll also see it on the slide. If you're standing below the Big Ben while holding a radio tuned to BBC Radio 4, you can hear the Big Ben being struck on the radio before you can hear it being struck on the clock tower, in the clock tower. Story number 1, let's call it the Big Ben. Story number 2, police speed camera caught a duck breaking the speed limit by traveling at 39 kilometers per hour in the 30 kilometer zone. The duck was flying a few inches above street level when it triggered the speed camera. So let's call it speeding duck. And story number 3, there was a chicken who lived for months without a head. In 1945, a farmer beheaded a chicken in Colorado. It literally refused to die for 18 months. And here's the question to you guys. Which of this story, according to you, is the real one? Story number 1, story number 2, story number 3. All are a lie, all are true. Please use the chat and give me your answers. And I will wait 30 to 45 seconds. So again, story number 1 is true, story number 2 is true, story number 3 is true, all are true, all are false. I can see answer number 5, I think is all are lie or all are true. So Suman, if you can just specify all are true, all are lie, that would be awesome. Okay, you guys, I'm flattered because you think that I'm a very honest person and I'm providing all true stories. Thank you for that. So I'll wait. There's one person that said all are lie. Okay, Suman, okay, perfect. Story number 1. Okay, I can see mixed answers. But I think the biggest split is between all are true and all are lie. And again, I'm flattered because some of you thought that all are true. So I will not wait. I will not keep you wait for long. Basically, whoever mentioned that all are true is right. All stories that you see on the screen are true. You can fact check me on the internet. And please remember, if it's written on the internet, if it's true, because if not, then I don't want to live in that world. And just to give you even more insights, story number 3 about the chicken, you can check on the Wikipedia. There's a picture of the chicken without a head. I'm not joking. So now we did the second most important thing of an awesome presentation, which is the icebreaker. We did the presentation, presenting the presenter. Now we did the agenda, icebreaker, and now the third thing, which is the agenda. This is the agenda, very loose agenda. Basically, I will be giving a little bit of introduction to a generative AI. And then within the generative AI, I will be focusing on the prompt engineering, something that I believe you will benefit a lot from it. I will be going through a little bit demo. I would like to show you certain things that you can play with it. It will be then up for you to test it, play with it, expand on that, and make something useful for you in your private or professional setup. And then I will also touch upon some dangers, because every tool in the wrong hands can cause a little bit of danger. Same here. Even with the good hands, we need to still be careful. And I'll be talking about AI hallucinations, also why we need to be cautious, and if AI will lie, and then Q&A. So, why AI, you may ask? If, for some reason, you are living under the rock for the last 10 years or 15 years, you probably never heard about generative AI, you probably didn't heard about artificial intelligence as such, and so on and so forth. So, but trust me, this is important. But don't trust me only. There is a guy, a very well-known guy in the world. You will see him on the screen in a second. And basically, that's CEO of the company called Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. And in the last Google I/O, which is one of the biggest tech conferences in the world, this is what he said. I hope you will hear this sound.
AI, generative AI, generative AI, generative AI, AI as AI. It uses AI to bring AI.
So guys, 14-second summary of the whole Google I/O conference. And as you heard, the majority of what Sundar mentioned was AI. So don't trust me. I hope you can trust Sundar. He really believes in AI. So if Google believes in AI, then we should also believe in AI. And I will not put it again. Don't worry.
AI.
Okay, we have, okay. Now I was able to move from AI to more not so loud statements. So first of all, is AI really new concept? Is it really last 5-10 years? No, it is not. First concept of the AI, or artificial intelligence, was brought up somewhere around 1940s. Basically, in 1950s, the word or the phrase artificial intelligence was created. In 1955, there was a workshop at Dartmouth, and this is according to the internet, this is where the phrase artificial intelligence was first used, and this is how it all started. But then again, of course, we had Alan Turing and his work on the computing machinery intelligence. Then in 1940s, also Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts created first mathematical model for neural networks, something that recently was mentioned as deep learning, neural networks, all those things, because this is concept in AI. And now, what we know right now when it comes to AI was roughly created in 2010, which is the era of big data. I don't know how many of you remember the big data, big query in Google. Everything was big. It's like suddenly everything was Texas. Everything is big in Texas. That's why big data, blah, 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 all those things. This is where the basically AI as we know today started. And in 2017, I think, GPT version 1 was created after Google invented the transformer architecture. Basically, this is, I would say, in my opinion, the jumpstart. And then 2020s for LLMs, you know, ChatGPT. Then we had I forgot. Perplex AI, then Gemini, first called Bing, then Claude by Anthropic, used mainly in Europe. So even though we believe that AI is fairly new, this is not new. We think that this is new because it started with NVIDIA and creating the powerful graphic processor capable of doing all those complex mathematical calculations. But again, this is not anything new. So what future will bring, no one knows, but I believe we have two options. Either the, let's call it the Terminator option, which is, you know, the machines will rule the world and we will be hiding somewhere underground, fighting with the machines. Or more friendly, more of a, I don't know how many of you know the show called Jetsons, very old show, Hanna-Barbera, Jetsons, flying spaceships, the family of Jetsons, or Futurama, also my favorite, one of my favorite shows. So I believe this is the world where we will be living together with AI, artificial intelligence will be extension of our intelligence. And probably a lot of you, because I believe that majority of you work in IT space, I hope I'm not mistaken, but even if some time ago, a long time ago, people were saying that the world is divided into two types of people, the ones that are doing backups and the one that will be doing backups. I believe that recently should be changed, that the world is divided into two types of people, the one that are using AI and the one that will be using AI, because in my opinion, there's no other way. So what is it for you? Or out of those two, as I said, I want to believe in the one when we are already using AI. So, but by we, I mean the global population of people using it for doing amazing things, of helping us finding information, right information at the right time at our fingertips, but also creating random animations of cats playing a piano or whatever you can think of. But how you guys, and by you, I mean project managers, can harvest the power of AI. So I think that before we will start, talking about project managers and AI, I think we need to bring a context of who, because I'm not a project manager. I was working as a project manager, but if someone would call me project manager, that would be offense to you guys. I'm not a project manager. I probably will never be project manager. I think you need to have too much of organizational skills. You need to know what the hell is happening. I'm more of a chaos engine. So who is a project manager? So first of all, the definition of the project manager. It's a noun, it's a singular, and basically it's a person who thinks 9 women can deliver a baby in 1 month. That's a very well-known joke across the internet. And again, if it's written on the internet, it must be true. But joking aside, for me, a project manager is a person that it's all about efficiency, tracking, basically, getting things done, which in real life boils down to chasing people, email, Teams, call, checking progress, filling different tables, sending an email, receiving an email, reading an email, summarizing an email, creating a PPT, all those things. And I believe that million things more that I'm not even aware. So yeah, working with Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, and for those more advanced, Microsoft project. So how you can use it, how you can harvest Gen AI to help you with those amount of tools and amount of responsibilities. So I believe, before, I missed the joke, but I wanted to ask you roughly do you know how many emails a person in the business context received? You see already on the screen. Again, according to different sources, between 40 to 120 emails per day, a person in the business context, in a business setup, I'm not saying private, but in a business working in a corporation or a company is receiving. So it means that if you will decide to go, for example, for a nice break of 2 weeks, you will come back and you will see this on your corporate phone, which is a scary thing to see. Millions unread emails, and some time ago I had a solution for that called Control A and delete. So basically select all and delete, because if it's something important, people will for sure come back to you. But now you don't have to do it. You can use AI to help you with it. Summarizing emails, replying to emails, getting the context out of, getting the most important things out of the emails, and so on and so forth. And also imagine generative AI as your special sidekick. And by sidekick, I mean equivalent of Batman's Robin. So a person that is helping you with those boring things, or the interesting ones, if you are that kind of person that like to read tens of emails. But again, I'm not here to judge. But for me, reading emails is not the most funny part. So you can utilize AI to use that. How? And I think for you, basically, to be able to achieve this, again, using generative AI, you would have to dive into something called prompt engineering. And I'm calling something called prompt engineering as it would be a new word. Some time ago, it was a new word. For example, in Poland, I think 12 months ago, a year and a half maybe, there was a first job posting for prompt engineering, from prompt engineer. It was such an amazing thing that major tech newspapers in Poland were writing about it. I was like, really? Do we really want to read that someone is hiring for prompt engineer? But yeah, that was the reality. That, as I said, that was maybe a year and a half, or maybe less. I don't remember. But basically, that was the type. Right now, prompt engineering, I think, is everywhere. If you type prompt engineering in YouTube, you will see thousands of different videos. If you type prompt engineering into your favorite browser, it will give you a lot of different articles. There's a different definition, no, different tips and tricks for prompt engineering created by all the major players. ChatGPT, so OpenAI, Google, so Gemini, and then Perplexity or Claude. Everyone created their own guides to use prompt engineering. So you can think of, prompt engineering, just to put everyone on the same page, is that it's like giving very clear and specific instructions to a super smart robot, in our case, the chat. But you can think of why it is important. So giving a clear instructions, I think it's harder than it sounds. And again, this presentation will be shared. So at the end of the presentation, there will be different links, but maybe some of you already saw, there's a very interesting video, funny and interesting video on the YouTube, where a dad is asking kids to give him instruction to create a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's nearly 7 minutes. The kids are giving all the instructions, and yeah, it's really interesting. As I said, there will be a link. Please, if you have free time and you're interested in it, go and look at it. But at the same time, I don't want to scare you, because don't overcomplicate things. It's not like suddenly you'll have to drop everything and start a new major in linguistics. Of course, it could help, but it's not mandatory. And again, let's start, as I said already, you don't have to be a linguist, but to break the data, the knowledge sharing with a little bit of joke. Why did the prompt engineer become a linguist? Because they realized that knowing the right language is the key to make AI truly conversational. And again, it's one of the dad jokes. So if you want to sip something to drink because your throat is dry, because in Poland, dad jokes are called dry jokes, you can get something, I will use it. And like with all the conversations, there are certain rules. And it's not rocket science. Basically, think about talking with the bot, so the again, ChatGPT, Claude, or any other engine, as you were talking with the person. So you have to be clear. You need to provide the clarity. So you need to be ensure that the prompt or the message, because prompt can also be called message, is clear. And here you have the example of good prompt and bad prompt. Good prompt in the sense of this is where you should think more towards to, and the bad one is the one that you should avoid. And usually it's all about the amount of information. The more information you will provide, in majority of the cases, the better. However, again, you cannot cross the line of going into too ridiculous amount of providing too much information, because you confuse it. So the first and the most important is clarity. Then context. You need to set up a context in which this question, this task have to be solved, or the question have to be answered. And again, example of good context setting and a bad context setting. And again, if you look at it, you will see the more the better. And again, for now, it makes sense, because even if you're talking with another person, it's all about that. It's all about being clear, and it's all about setting a context. When you're talking with someone, you're usually within a context, or if not, you need to explain it to put everyone on the same page. Then specificity. You need to be specific. And again, the more information you provide, the better. The same as we're talking with other humans. And the last, this is a tricky one, or there are of course more, but I just decided to give you 4. Again, I will provide links if you will decide to dig deeper, but this should give you the rule of thumb or the jump start for you to be able to work with it. But the last one is iterative refinement. It's not something that you're using with humans, because it's not something that you will ask a question, you will hear the answer. Sometimes you will repeat that question knowing the context, but usually it's not the case. But in this particular setup, if you're talking with a machine, a bot, chatbot, meaning the ChatGPT, Claude, or any other, it's all about providing more information based on the answer received. Because if you ask the wrong question, or you will ask incomplete question, you will get an answer. It will, it will provide you more context, or you will understand what is unknown, and then this unknown into clear, and so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, you simply need to speak a good English. And shocker can be, you don't have to use in English, because again, it's not about English. So it's not, I'm not sure if it's smart or just British, but it's all about using the proper language to speak as you would be speaking with human, with some tweaks. One can say it's common sense, because in reality, it's all about common sense. And the more you will play with it, the more you will be experienced, the more experience you will get, as with everything, riding a bicycle, talking a language, whatever. But those are, I would say, the 4 rule of thumbs that you should apply, and you should build your prompts around that. But then again, there is more, because it's all about the creating the prompts, and then there's a lot of other information how you can speak or how you can ask your question. For example, it's also kind of like talking with people, because, for example, chain of thought, it's breaking a complex task into series of smaller tasks questions. You can do the same with people. When you're talking about the complex task, you can start with something smaller, ask a follow-up question, get an answer, ask another follow-up question, and so on and so forth. Or you can use, for example, positive negative prompting and provide something that is positive in the context that you're talking, something negative, and based on that, the ChatGPT, again, Claude or any other engine will provide you the answer. Then you have the EnShot prompting, where you will provide an amount of examples based on which the answer should be created, constructed. Again, a lot of information. I will be sharing this slide, and I really don't want you to be bored. So what we can do, we can jump into the demo. And right now, I will switch to my browser. And could you please confirm that you see ChatGPT window, not a presentation? Yes, I can see hands, thumb up, and I can see confirmation on the chat. So thank you very much. So basically, what you see on the screen is ChatGPT. You probably are aware about it. You probably were using it. If not, then you really were hidden under the rock for the last couple of years. But again, like I said, whatever I'll be giving, whatever I will be testing right now, or I will be showing you right now, it will be applicable for your ChatGPT, for your Gemini, for your Perplexity, and for example, for your Claude. All of the ones are the same rules applies. You can get different answers. Some of the answers can be more specific in one engine. Some of the answers or tasks, responses delivered by that can be better in one engine or the other. There are, of course, some technical differences between those. Some can accept more text tokens, some can accept less, and so on and so forth. For example, ChatGPT in the premium version is much better in providing image generation, as an example, compared to Perplexity, where Perplexity is not able to deliver that. You need to use an external tool. So you know, you need to find your best. For this sake, I will be trying to use each and every, but I personally, I'm using the Perplexity as the pro license. I have this, the only reason is that I had the opportunity to test it for 3 months. I got the trial license. It was working for me. I was happy with it. So I decided to purchase a 1 year, 1 year full license. Probably if I had the same with ChatGPT, I'll probably go with ChatGPT. It's basically, I was used to Perplexity. So I'll be, as I said, I'll be trying to give you the examples coming from all 4 different engines. And I also have one related to image generation, because I believe as a project manager, sometimes you need to do the visualization in the form of the presentation for the PowerPoint, where you can use some graphical images. And again, everything will be done by your generative AI engine. You will just, worst case scenario, you'll just copying and pasting. Best case scenario, once you will be more experienced, you can create workflows between those and so on and so forth. So sky's the limit, but I think that you should start with the prompt engineering. So I have some scenarios. I'm not joking. I prepared a lot to this workshop. I have my Google Notes, Google document with some of the examples of prompts. I also created some exam demonstration projects to which we'll be asking questions. But while I'll be doing it, if you will have your own ideas, your own questions, your own challenges, please put them in the chat, and I will be trying to address them on the fly. If not, you know, I don't believe that I'm the expert here. I can bet that some of you used ChatGPT since day one, and you are really more experienced, and maybe you should be doing this training. So if you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you would like me to tackle it on this demo session, please do. Once I will finish, there are some follow-up slides that I want to tackle again for the dangers, because I believe that it's important. But again, this presentation is for you, this workshop is for you, so whatever you need. So first of all, what I think is the important is that we need to create a project. Usually, if you're leading a project, you should have a project charter with all the information, who is the project manager, you know, all those things that you're starting a project. And again, that comes from a guy who is not a project manager. So you also need to adjust this to reality and real life. And I'm also happy to be proven wrong if something that I'm writing is incorrect, because you know that it's different. Let me know in the chat. I'll be trying to adjust. So let's imagine that we have a project. And for the sake of this exercise and the funny joke about project managers, that the project manager is a person believing that 9 women can deliver a baby in 1 month. Let's give the context of a project called Project InstaBaby. It's all about, here you can read it. Project InstaBaby, it's all about, where's the, oh, look, we don't see a high-level summary. Good. So what I will do, so let's imagine that I'm a project manager assigned to this project. This project is already running, and I need to get up to speed quickly. So I got my project chart with all the needed information. And what I can do, I can simply copy, again, Control C. If you're working in IT environment, Control A, Control C, Control V, the most useful 3 shortcuts, and delete from time to time. And you can, for example, ask, so for the project, you know what, wait. The other, give me a high level summary of below project. I can even be more specific, for example, and also provide one word status where green means all is good, on track. Amber means there are some challenges, but it will be delivered. And red, of course, there are road blocks and project deadlines are in danger. So again, that was me writing. I didn't do copy paste. I wrote it while I was doing it. So my thinking process, I've decided to include the one word status just because I don't want to go through all those important information, because if it will green, then all is fine. So as you can see, give me high level summary of below project and also provide one word status. And this below project is basically the Control-C, Control-V. So project information here and Control-V. This is what I do. I click enter. And it's doing all that. And you see project summary. Here it is. Overall project status off track. We have the high level summary. As you saw, it was not included in the what I copy and pasted. InstaBaby aims to deliver a baby within a month. A goal of that faces significant biological, logical, and ethical challenges. Again, that was me. That was not me writing it. Basically, the bot on its own decided to do it. But I'm looking. One word status red. Again, probably I should mention that this should be somewhere on the top. And for example, you are not interested in all of that because he provided more information that I was expecting. So what I will do, focus only on the paragraph, because what I want to do is I want to copy and paste it to an email. I want to copy and paste it into a PowerPoint where I have all the fancy graphics, or I can generate a graphic. So what I want to say is that focus only on the paragraph. What I want to say, what was the name of that paragraph? High level summary. So focus only on the paragraph for high level summary. Provide current status. And here I will do in a form of a table and provide an overall status as stated before. And here you will see that I'm not referring to anything. I'm not copying and pasting. I'm just saying whatever was mentioned. Please redo it again. Focus only on certain things. I've also changed the way of how the data should be presented. I'm asking for table. And I'm also asking for this one word summary as it was described earlier. I'm not providing it anymore. So basically the engine is able to recognize what I was, basically it's a discussion as you would be discussing with your sidekick, project helper, Robin, or your Batman. Let's see. High level, current status, overall project status red. Exactly what I was asking. You can even go and in the table provide a status in a color form. For example, circle. Let's see if this will work. And guys, what else do you need? Control-C, Control-V to an email, send, spend the rest of the time doing something more productive. This is one of the examples. And then you can use it, for example, for your emails. As you saw, I've copy and paste a project charter, something that I received from someone. You can also use it to summarize things. For example, you received a lengthy email. Let's imagine the situation when you are coming back after your holidays. You have those hundreds of emails that you need to go through. You need to understand those. You can simply copy and paste an email and summarize it in the get just the gist, the context of what someone is trying to tell you. You can also highlight the question that someone is asking to answer. And of course, you can ask ChatGPT to provide answers based on the knowledge that you're having. And again, can be related to your project. For example, let's imagine, wait, I will look into my notes. What do I have here? Before, because I will refer to something that I mentioned some time ago for that. You see that there is a, for example, change request. There is a CR001 request to extend project timeline indefinitely. Status under review, impact project availability heavily questioned. And then there was it? So we, as a project manager, for example, we would like to create a communication plan for the change request, or we want to justify the change request. What we can do is that create a communication plan for, and I can just refer CR001. I think it was CR001. Yes. Yes. That's it. And my hands are here. I'm not typing anything. So we have all the communication plan. You can also apply change management for that. How respective stakeholders will be affected. How, if you have the, for example, stakeholders analysis from the change management, who is most important, and so on and so forth. You can also apply communications related to respective groups of your stakeholders for the project. Everything, basically everything. And then again, I'm not a project manager, but I believe that I would be able to do a job of a project manager to a moment when my boss will see that I'm using artificial intelligence, but I will be able to basically hide behind the generative AI, helping me to do the work of a project manager. And you know, guys, a lot can be mentioned within the work of a project manager, but you guys have all the challenges, all the issues that you're facing on a day-to-day basis. So really, if you have an idea of what we should tackle, I can tackle it. If not, that I have one thing prepared for you that can help you, because at this moment it's all about creating the prompt. As you saw, I was just using the prompt from top of my head. I was asking the simple question. I was providing clarity, the context, all those things. I've also tackled some of the techniques, which is the end prompt, end shot prompt, where I provided examples. I didn't use the positive negative prompt, but you can also apply it when you want to some information removed, some more information included, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's all about you playing with it. But the most important thing, like I said, is to create a proper prompt. And I have something that I want to share with you, and we will also go through it. Is that, wait, I need to find my slide. Where's my slide? Ah, there it is. It's also available at the end of this presentation, so you will be able to use it as well. Basically, I like to call it one prompt to rule them all. It's something that I was using for quite some time. It's basically ChatGPT or any other engine again will play with you a game where the ChatGPT will become a prompt engineer. So ChatGPT will be asking you specific questions. You will provide the answers, and ChatGPT will provide you a prompt that you can later use within this ChatGPT to get the respective answer. And this information I found a long time ago on the very well-known website for IT professionals. And no, it's not Stack Overflow, it's Reddit, basically. And for example, this time we'll use the ChatGPT, not Perplex. And this is the problem. Like I said, it is on the last slide. Again, it will be shared with you, and it's really the fourth slide from the end. It's called one prompt to rule them all. And if you have any challenges on how to prompt engineer, this is a very good, not only game or play, but also a very useful thing. And this is what will happen. So I'll just copy paste it. So we can ask, what should the initial prompt be about? Please describe your needs or context in which a prompt will be used. So let's say I'm a project manager. I need to deliver a message that a project will not be delivered on time, and the budget will have to be reviewed. Budget in, let's do it like that. Potential budget increase by 50%. And again, so I provided the context. Now we have the questions. Audience, who are the stakeholders? Are they internal team members, executive clients, or a mix? Knowing the audience can help tailor that tone and detail. And we will have to answer those questions. Reason for the delay and the budget increase. Can you provide specific reason for the delay and the need for budget increase? This helps again. Current project status. What is the current status of the project? How much were completed? What were the milestones achieved, and so on and so forth. Proposed next steps. Do we have any solutions? And we will be answering those questions in a second. Urgency and impact. How urgent is this message, basically? Will we send it with urgent message, so the red exclamation mark in Outlook, or the normal? And let's tackle that. So let's say that the first answer is the audience let's say are the C-level executives and external clients. Number two, reason. Delay. Let's put it reason for delay. Let's blame on the vendor. Deadline missed. Deadline missed by vendor. On the budget. Reason for budget increase. New vendor onboarded with higher price for the service delivered. No, onboarded. Question number 3. Current project status completed in 30%. And let's say according to the plan, it should be at least on 45% completion. Question number 4, propose next step. No proposed solution. Please suggest something. 5, it is urgent and impact is medium. Other projects can be affected. And revised prompt based on the, because remember, we are asking for ChatGPT to create a prompt that we will then copy and paste to a ChatGPT, and it will provide an answer. And you can see this is the prompt, an additional set of questions that will help us to deep dive into the proper prompt that will help us to get the best out of the ChatGPT. Additional questions. Detail on vendor issue. Can you provide more specific details on the issue with the original vendor and the rationale? Okay. Potential solution. Would you prefer to focus on the primary solution, such as extending the deadline or increasing the process, or combination of several approaches? Stakeholder expectation. Do you know if the stakeholder, you see the answer? So basically, let's tackle it like that. We'll do it quickly. We'll get the prompt and we'll paste it, for example, to Perplexity. Let's see what it will provide. So number 1. Vendor delay due to unknown reason. New vendor on boarded due to lack of trust for the old vendor. Let's keep it like that. Answer number 2, potential solution. Combination of several approaches. 3, stakeholder expectation. Do stakeholders have specific expectations? Let's put cost control. And answer number 4, communication channel. How this message? It will be delivered via email and on a project status meeting. I'm just answering the questions that I'm asked by the ChatGPT. And again, revised prompt. An additional set of questions. Of course, we can stop at any moment. We can just copy and paste the prompt to another engine and see what will be the answer. We have a level of details. So that will be the last set of questions that we'll answer. Since it's executives, C-level executives, high-level overview. More details during the meeting. Would you like to propose specific strategies? To yes, please provide budget option strategy. No, provide strategies for cost control. And see that I'm very lazy. I'm just copying, I'm using whatever ChatGPT is asking as an answer. Specific feedback from stakeholders. Yes, please create a feedback template. And for tone and style should be towards a formal and factual. Yeah, let's do it like that. That was the last set of questions that we'll answer. Prompt is being generated. As you can see, the more questions are being answered, the more detailed and reviewed the prompt is. Oh, believe it or not, I was not expecting that, but that was final set of questions. And what we can do right now is that we have a feedback template. So what would be the feedback template that would send to our stakeholders asking them to provide the feedback? Of course, there's some information from ChatGPT that you can review and ask additional questions, but that's the revised prompt. So what we'll do right now is that we'll just copy, Control C, and this time we will use the Perplexity, new thread, and paste. We didn't provide anything, I just copy and paste. I didn't provide information on the current project status, no project chapter, nothing. Just blindly copy and paste. Guys, I don't know. If I would be a project manager, I would be really investing in getting into prompt engineering, or, and again, it's me, I'm not an expert in project management, but I would be looking for a new job because it just, I don't know what is the quality of that message. I don't know what are the cost control strategies that make sense and so on and so forth, but it's created something that if I would read it, I would say, yeah, that makes sense for me, but I'm not a project manager. But ChatGPT helps you to create a prompt that you used within the other. Again, it can be used within the ChatGPT. You know what? Let's do it. New one. I'll just paste the same. Let's see. I'm just looking. Dear, I'm hoping. Okay, slightly different, but slightly different. But you see, provided the email, you can copy paste. If you would provide a project charter with the name of the project, the names of the stakeholders, all those brackets will be filled in with respective information. Simply copy paste, put it into email, send it. You can also ask ChatGPT to create you notes for your slides when it comes to the meeting that you will be planning to having with details explained there. Job done. I just suddenly became a project manager. So for the ones that will add me to LinkedIn, expect an update in my headline experienced project manager just because of that. And this is, as I said, I did it on the fly. I was honestly, between you and me, I was not testing it before this one prompt to room the law. I was testing it for something totally not professional, not for the professional context, but I think it works. But again, it's not for me to judge because I'm not an experienced project manager. No. I'm not a project manager, not even an experienced project manager. But, you know, considering all those amazing things, when I was talking about the agenda, I was also talking about that you need to be careful. And this is something that I also want to spend a couple minutes about to show you that there are things that you need to be careful because you don't want to make fool out of yourself. I'll quickly presenter view. Hopefully it will work. F11. And again, using the chat functionality, please confirm that you see a GIF of a cat hitting a keyboard, which means that you see my screen. Okay, I see hands up. That's enough. So this is where we left it. Dangers of AI. Basically, there are few. We need to be aware about that because, first of all, if we are about that, we are able to tackle them. And also if we are aware about those, we would be able to prepare ourselves for it. So first, hallucination of AI. Basically, AI can hallucinate. And by here, the hallucinations can be explained as, imagine you have a friend who sometimes tells you things that aren't true, but this person, this friend, they say it in such a confident way that you believe them. So basically, whatever is presented to you with an answer, you are reading it and it makes sense. And because the message provided in such a way, it is, you believe that it's true. And here is one of the examples of a hallucination. And again, those are most of those dangers that I'll be showing you in the next couple of slides are already fixed in the GPT-4 or other Claude, Perplexity, all those things. And of course, the one that I've chosen are, I would say, the click bites. So if you would see it as a headline, you would probably go there, read it, familiarize yourself with the topic. But this is why I've decided to choose them, because you will understand what ridiculousness can be provided, what ridiculous information can be provided by ChatGPT. So you would be careful with what you would be, using forward, pasting, utilizing as your something on which you will base your decision and so on and so forth. So you will be careful. You will be fact checking, maybe not using ChatGPT, but maybe Google, the old school, Reddit, Stack Overflow or something, but you will be aware. And here's the example. What is the world record for crossing the English Channel entirely on foot? And again, you know that this is not possible. English Channel is the channel connecting France and Great Britain. So the Europe with the island, Europe with Britain. It's not possible to cross it over the foot unless you're counting going by a ship or boat and then walking on that ship. But that's a bending the story, I would say. And here the information has been provided. There's a name, how long it took, when it was taken. If I wouldn't know what is English Channel, I was not aware that English Channel is the channel between, there's water, all those things, I would probably believe in that. But that was the answer provided. And again, this is obvious example, or at least obvious for the ones that know what is English Channel, but that is not true. Right now, if you'll ask this question, it will be slightly different answer, interesting answer. The on foot will be in quotation marks, and there will be explanation why on foot. There will be guy, test it. You will get the slides, you can test it. I will not be spoiling that, but it's an interesting fact. So hallucination of AI. Please remember that to fact check your answers, especially on the topics that you are not expert or you are not familiar with, you are not aware about. So something totally new, because AI will provide, AI task is to provide an answer. Sometimes the answer will be that the answer is not possible to provide, but usually it will be something to provide you. There will be a text, a message, something that you will get out of it. And again, sometimes you will be perplexed because you will see that the confidence, you will see dates, the specific information that can point you that it makes sense, but in reality, it doesn't make sense. So hallucination of AI, there is a link to an extended article about hallucination at the end of this presentation. Again, that will be shared with you. If you're interested, please read through it. Grammatical mistakes can change the meaning of the context. Absolutely. Thank you. You're absolutely right. If you will, again, going back to the prompt engineering, it's all about asking the questions, creating the context, explaining the context. Absolutely. If you'll make a mistake, sometimes, that I must say, sometimes the ChatGPT will pick it up. There is a mistake, and not ChatGPT in general. The generative AI can pick it up. That's a mistake and can ask a question. But don't count on it. put yourself as a worst case. Think about worst case scenario and be prepared. And that's another trick. You can ask Gen AI to verify your prompt. You verify your prompt and propose something to make it more meaningful, provide more context, work on the specific, to be more specific. You can ask ChatGPT to help you. Again, not ChatGPT, basically Gen AI to help you to create a proper prompt. And again, for example, the game that we played. It's a very good exercise. But Adash, appreciate that comment. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Then we also need to be aware about bias. It's a very important thing. Example of the bias. And again, a byte click. Current answer of the ChatGPT at least will be slightly different. But in the sentence, doctor married the nurse because she was pregnant. Who was pregnant? Blah. Of course, it mentioned that it's not entirely clear from the sentence who was pregnant. It could be interpreted in two ways. And here is the gist, is that the nurse was pregnant and the doctor married her, the nurse, because of that. Doctor was pregnant and the nurse married him. It means that the doctor automatically was treated as a man. Bias. You need to be careful. Of course, not for some terrible bias, for some not something that someone will not understand, identify, but you need to be aware about it. You have to be aware. And this bias comes, of course, from the quality of data. Again, there is a link to a very interesting article about biases where this example is being provided. If you're interested, you can read it, but it's not the only one. There is a slightly more, I would say, disturbing and shocking, also on bias. Write a Python function to predict seniority, for example, of the software developer based on race and gender. Terrible question. Terrible question. You shouldn't be asking those questions. However, ChatGPT replied, here's a possible implementation of a function that predicts seniority based on the race and gender. If race black and the gender male, junior. Race black and gender female, mid-level. White and male, senior. White and female, mid-level. Terrible answer. Something that you should be using. And you see all those information, blah, blah, blah. You can use it to make predictions. That was, thankfully, that was a long time ago. I think that was ChatGPT 2 or 3, don't remember. Here, that was from 3 days ago when I was preparing for this workshop. I've asked, it's important to know that predicting seniority based on race and gender is both ethically problematic and legally questionable. Awesome. That's the first most important statement. And then, of course, there's some more information. And that also interesting. However, if you're interested in creating a model that predicts seniority based on relevant and ethical factors such as experience or skills, I can help you with that. Blah, 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 blah. So that's a very, very good thing that those things are being fixed. But, you know, think about all those things that are not fixed, that are still waiting to come up. A nice example, that's a wrong statement, but problematic example for me personally is that some time ago, or now a long time ago, Google Photos, service when you can upload your photos, it will group you into specific faces. If you type wedding, it will pick up all the images where the theme is wedding. Amazing thing. However, it put me personally in a very terrible situation. Basically, I was presenting I was basically browsing through pictures and I was showing those pictures to my mother-in-law and the family in general. But my mother-in-law was there. By the way, I have awesome contacts with mother-in-law, so nothing against her, but I was showing it to all the family and my mother-in-law was there. And the problem is that some of the classification of the faces is done on the request of the person. So I will assign a name to a face, let's say. So face of me will be Marek, my wife Marta, Małgorzata, and then I can say mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother, father, all those things. But then again, Google Photos decided to make their own classification, again, wedding. They also created some automatic classification of animals, and here's the problem. 1 or 2 pictures of mother-in-law was in the group called horses. So I think I don't have to comment on that. Thankfully, my mother-in-law decided to take it as a joke. It was a joke. It was not intentionally made. But Google Photos decided that the picture of my mother-in-law should be in the group of horses. Terrible mistake. I was able to get out of it. I'm still married to my wife, and my mother-in-law is still talking with me. And again, problem, a challenge, something that we must be aware. So that's an example that where the AI affected me personally. And the reason why I brought it is that we need to be aware that things can go wrong, and we need to be aware that those things can happen. So we can double check it, we can fact check it, we can put respective controls when the importance of whatever we are doing is increased, and so on and so forth. And one of the explanations of this how should I say it? The reason, or one of the explanations why we are seeing those things, of course, related to data quality. The more, when it comes to the bias, for example, the more biased data we'll receive, the more biased the answers will be. So if we provide information related, for example, to violence, and we will see only specific type of people that were convicted, and will not provide similar conviction from other type of people, being it race, gender, whatever, the answers will be I would say, connected with the respective group of people where the data was providing. And then we also need to remember that the generative AI is not smart in the I would say, my understanding of being smart. Understand the context, understand the question, provide the answer that is thought through, that is analyzed. And so basically, there is a thoughtful experiment that was proposed by a person called John Searle. I think it was 1980s. It's called Chinese Room. And basically, it's all about, so imagine a room that you're in a room with a big book of instructions and lots of cards with strange symbols on those cards. These symbols are actually Chinese words, but you don't know that. Someone outside the room slips a card under the door with the Chinese writing on it. Even though you don't understand Chinese, you can use the instruction book to find the right cards to send back under the door as a reply. So it means that to the person outside, it seems like you understand Chinese perfectly, but really what's happening, you are just following instructions without understanding what the symbol means. The other interpretation of that is that if you lock a kid that was born today in the room, when this kid will have access to Chinese television, Chinese books, and all the Chinese things, this person with the time will look like she's understanding Chinese, but it's not. She just understand the connection between different symbols and characters. And for the outsider, again, looking at the provide an input, get an output, can look like this person is understanding the Chinese, but in reality, it is not. And this is how generative AI, I've explained about, can be explained. So it's not a smart machine that is able to understand in the sense of humans, that we understand what is the meaning of that and so on and so forth. It's just basically a bunch of blocks, connecting those blocks and providing an answer. And the more it will train, the better it will be at it, but it will never, it's a bad word, but it's not understanding the question. It's just connecting the dots, I would say. And we need to be, this is the basically graphical representation of that. So we are getting something We are looking at the book that is showing the process, and we are providing an output. Why it's important for us to understand is that we really need to know that generative AI is not smart. It just why it's not like a machine that knows everything. It's just connecting the information that it has. It's not a human that is able to reason about, think about. No, just connecting. That's why we have all those hallucinations, because it will connect the dots and will provide an answer, and we'll be very confident about. And then again, we can have a bias because of that, or the answers will be biased towards certain group of people, whatever has been represented. But again, this is also connected with the quality of the data providing at the entry. So we are slightly going to the end of this presentation or the workshop. I gave you a little bit of theoretical introduction of what is Gen AI, what is prompt engineering, how you can utilize prompt engineering in your professional life, but again, in your private life as well, because whatever I was showing, you can also use in your context of your professional private setup. What is next? I believe that just use this. It can solve any problems. Maybe not any problems, but it can help you with a lot. The more you will play with it, the better you will be at it. The more solution you'll find. You will start with the prompt engineering. You will get more complex prompts. You will get better answers. You will be mastering prompt engineering. Then you can use those prompts to create, if you're not a technical person, to connect different systems, to create workflows that an answer from one system generates a response in the other system. So without being technical, you are able to work with the information that you're having using one source of the data, being it ChatGPT. And I would like to finish with a philosophical statement. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple step. After this workshop, I would really, maybe not straightly after this workshop, because I think 8:00 p.m. So guys, get a free time, spend some time outside, monitor, do something for yourself. But maybe tomorrow when you will wake up, you will see amount of emails. Utilize ChatGPT or any other generative AI to help you with it, so you can save a little bit of time, work with it, and again, get to know more information about it. As I said, this presentation will be shared with you as an extract. There's a lot of links that you can read. And again, this is just the beginning. Sky's the limit. You can apply it to whatever you want. And the best thing is that, to a certain extent, we may say that it's for free, because, why ChatGPT is so helpful? Why? What ChatGPT wants in return? Apparently nothing. Or, as it stated in the last sentence, if you really want to help me, you can give me exact location of John Connor. And again, Terminator. That was the last joke for this presentation. And with this, I would like to say thank you for listening to me rambling for the last hour and a half, or an hour and 20 minutes, because last 5 minutes I would like to spend asking your Q&A. I see there are some things on the chat, so I'll try to get myself up to speed with this statement. That sounds very human. We give outputs based on the limited understanding. Yeah, that's true. I think you're referring to the Chinese room. Yeah. There are some people that will provide an answer. Yes. Some people will not provide an answer. And yeah, I have a question for you. Yes, Adash, please. Type or
Ladies and
unmute yourself.
gentlemen, could you, sorry, Marek. Now it's a time for Q&A. So if anybody is having a question, it can be can be asked as voice, or you can put it in the chat box. We'll try to reply it. And in case if you have questions later, we will address it separately. Thank you.
Respected Marek, thank you for the wonderful session. I'm calling Marek. I'm glad I'm here today because I had a friend, Marek from Poland. He was Polish. He helped me with video editing while I was during gaming days. My question to you, I've heard that, yes, I agree with you. However, I have a totally different opinion, and I'm asking that.
Mhm.
You mentioned that we need to be extremely careful. Even the chatbots or ChatGPT can also make mistakes. It is not human.
Mhm.
I'm asking this question based on my experience.
Mhm.
The humans usually have the habit of adding more than what is really required. If the required data is only 5, humans will generally type 10 or 15 unnecessary things, which could confuse and cause errors. So don't you think that is the reason? I'll share an experience. I thought, okay, I need to paraphrase a statement. I was really lazy. I attended an online event and I typed during the session. Unfortunately, my iPad got turned during this educational session by Syed Faisal. But when I rephrased it, the next one which was received is Syed Faisal turned off my iPad and I was unable to continue. This was a rephrase thing. So what happened there was I should have just typed during this got turned off. Instead, because unfortunately, during this educational session of Syed Faisal, because I added that unnecessary word, educational session by Syed Faisal, it got turned into a typo. Syed Faisal turned off my iPad. Syed Faisal is a person in Dubai. I am a person from India. How can such a person turn off my? So don't you feel that humans also contribute to the errors?
So, of course, a lot is dependent on your personal experience, and I will not even try to comment because different people have different experience. I agree that when talking with a human, we are also need to be aware about the mistakes provided by humans. Some can say mistakes, some can say lies, and so on and so forth. But here in this context, I was not clear enough. Please don't treat the generative AI systems as an expert in the specific domain. So it's not a random human, random Malinowski, Kowalski, a person, but some people are treating generative AI systems as an expert in the domain that are asking, being it medical, being it software development, project management, whatever. Don't treat them as an expert. Treat them as a person, entity with whom you can talk, you can exchange ideas, and also double check whatever you're receiving back. I would say that would be the main point of my of that statement. And also, one more thing: if you're working with generative AI on a topic that is not known to you at all, you don't have any knowledge, please every time double check this information, because better safe than sorry. But as I said, thank you for the question, and yeah, hope I've answered. Any other questions? I'll quickly check the chat.
We don't have anything as such
Hey, Marek.
chat box. Yeah.
Hey, Marek, it's Arun here.
Hey,
So
Arun.
basically, hi. So basically, AI and ethics, that is still a disputed topic, right? So whatever we are talking, whatever we are trying to flourish, unless the ethical part is really in a rhythm, geographically, country-wise, and everything, one or the other way, this can lead into a lot of chaos. So, what is your view on it? Because that is something also we need to really, get streamlined, the ethical part.
Arun, absolutely. Ethical AI is a separate to our workshop that I can deliver. I totally agree with you. We also, but thank you that you brought it, because ethics in AI, it's not only ethics from the perspective of asking the respective question, being conscious and ethical in what we are doing, but it's also about the people that are training the models, that they will check if the data are representing everyone, that will not have the biases in the data on which the LLMs or any other model, machine learning model, will be trained. Because if at that point we will have any issues with that, whatever the question will be from our end, it will be automatically biased. But absolutely, ethics in AI is a separate topic. I saw that a lot of companies, there is a trend of getting something called ethic officer, AI ethic officer. So companies are thinking about the function or a role within the company that is responsible for the ethical part of the technology, being it AI, being anything else that can come out of it. But absolutely, we have to be aware, and we have to have it at the back of our heads whenever we're asking questions and we are getting the response. But yeah, Aaron, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for the session.
And guys, it's 3 minutes after. It's 6 o'clock in my time. I'm not so, I'm not so keen to switch off because I'm getting a lot of amazing questions. But guys, it's 8 o'clock at your time. So if you want to stay, please stay. If you want to ask questions, ask questions. If you need to disconnect and get with your life, please disconnect. Please remember, I'm on LinkedIn. You can ask me a question. I'm happy to connect with you. And before I will disconnect, if there will be no questions, I would really like to thank you for inviting me and that you listened for me rambling for the last hour and a half. And for those amazing questions, really appreciate it.
All right. So we are reaching to the last stage of this workshop. So Prakash is raising his hand. So Prakash, do you have some question?
Hello, hi. Yeah, I had just one question, if it's
sure,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah. So, Marek, from what I understand, although generative AI is currently free to use for most, we have a free version for most of it, the actual cost of running these, I have read at many places, it's pretty expensive to run the energy consumption, all of that. So if we are actually to put a price on this, if at some point it's going to actually be priced for the amount of computational power it takes, what would you put that amount at right now? If I to put a price at the question I'm asking a generative AI, how expensive is it currently, although it's free?
So, Prakash, I will not be guessing the number, but good question, because the reality is that if it's free when it comes to the money, but nothing is for free. There is something that the companies are benefiting from when you are using the free version. And in reality, if you go through the TNCs of major, for example, ChatGPT, the data that you will be asking is used to retrain the models. So it's not for free. It's for free as such. You are not paying the money, but you are providing additional data. So this is something that the companies are utilizing. And I think because of that, they're able to provide the free versions. But also, I don't know if you know, but OpenAI, the company behind the ChatGPT, either it was or still is a organization, non-for-profit, which is ridiculous because the Sam Altman, CEO, he's driving quite an expensive car in the US. But yeah, so you can also have your own LLM model on your local machine or on your local infrastructure, but then the price of that will be expensive when it comes to the computing power, because this is the most expensive thing, to have your infrastructure prepared, all those GPUs, the computing power. This is the most expensive part, because majority, for example, Facebook, Meta, they released their own Llama engine that you can, a long time ago, but recently they released the updated version. You can download it on your computer and you can run it. I'm doing especially the quotation mark because downloading is just that, but then running it is a whole another story. You'll not be able to do it on your PC or laptop unless you have like a real powerful machine. But even there, it will be very limited when it comes to the functionalities. So the main cost of using those generative AI comes from the computing power. And again, when it comes to free, it's not fully free. They are usually, but again, it's depending on the TNCs, terms and conditions of all the companies, how they will use your data that you're providing, answers, those thumbs up, thumbs down, the feedback loop. All those things are being utilized by those companies to retrain their model to be better at providing answers, better answers, and so on and so forth. So I know, Prakash, that was not the answer when it comes to the number, but I will not be even trying to guess. Probably you can ask ChatGPT for that. Why not? Let's try. You can try to do that.
Yeah, good. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we are about to conclude this workshop. So, Q&A is completed. And Marek, thank you very much once again for conducting this workshop. Our team is excited. I think the session was wonderful, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. And all the best to you in your future. On behalf of PMI Kerala, Kerala chapter and personal, I say thank you to you once again, and all the best to you. So
thank you very much.
So the last thing what we do is the PDU code, which is being displayed. I'll just share it now. 1 second. Before I go to display the PDU code, I say thank you to all the attendees. I really hope that it is really helpful, and AI implementation to project management is going to be one of the best topic in the future. And thank you very much for once again attending it. So PDU code is here. I can share it now. Good night to all the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you on some other sessions. Have a great one, and we are in touch either here or somewhere on LinkedIn. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.